background, Kelly. Yes, I'm going to introduce you all. You all know, I think anyway, Rusty, who is here from England, or in our group from England. And Rusty's going to talk tonight. We're going to put off our business meeting until the end of her talk because it gets really late for Rusty. And so we want to give her a chance to talk while she can still be awake. And she's going to talk to us tonight about things she's done with brown plastic furniture. Do you all know what brown plastic?
No. This is from pill blisters.
Oh,
But
pill blisters. Oh, I thought it was brown plastic
we
furniture.
did that last time.
Different kinds of things that she uses.
Okay, different things she uses. Rusty is very creative. So I'm wrong. It's not brown plastic furniture. It's whatever she's talking about. So we will turn this meeting over and I'll spotlight Rusty and she can show us whatever she's got to talk about. All right?
Yep. Right, I've sorted this out with my daughter today, and I bet I haven't got it right, but here we go.
All we can, oh, there you go. Good. Oh, screen sharing. Yes.
Screen sharing. Right. These are extras to make a room look more inhabited for kitchens, and you just want things on the shelf to make it look more lived in. And but I don't want to go paying a lot of money. I don't want to have to go finding shops and things that sell them. It was very difficult sometimes, but I looked at some of the enamel pots and dishes that my mother had and my grandmother had. I thought, I know those shapes. I reckon I can create those in quarter scale with what I have around the house. So I looked around, and what I had, unfortunately, was a lot of pills and a lot of pill blisters. And some of them are the right shape. These aren't all ours. I've cadged them off other people as well. So, although quite a lot of them are ours now. I thought, yes, if I can do that, and I have a problem, as you know, from seeing properly. So what I needed to do was find a way of cutting an even edge around them. It's very difficult if you can't see what you're doing. They tend to get a bit jagged around the edges. Now, my way around this was to use lids from biros, from felt tips, anything I could find. Hello? You hearing this?
Yes,
Okay.
you know,
Obviously,
wait a minute.
She
We're
needs to turn the
echoing.
volume down on her recording, on her stuff, because we're getting an echo. She needs to turn her volume down,
No,
mine.
or somebody's.
no, let me tell you what is going on here. Somebody has two devices on.
Not
So
me.
I think we're okay now.
Okay. So the way round it was to find a top from a biro or from a felt tip or something like that that fitted exactly over the pill blister, and I then cut around the edge where it was fitted on, and it made a nice shape. Obviously, if you've got an oblong or not a circle, it's more difficult. So if you see here, I put an elastic band around it. That just gave me a little bit more space, and I was able to cut around the elastic band. Okay?
Okay, what I'm going to do is mute everyone, and then Rusty, I need you to mute. I need you to mute your unmute you.
Unmute myself.
Yes,
if only I
because
knew where.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
feedback from someplace. Yeah. Okay. Now you just unmute you. Yeah. Uh-oh, you
That
can't
done it?
find, There,
Has that
now
done
we
it?
hear you. Yes, now we can
Okay.
hear you.
I hadn't realized it transferred it to the top, but there we go. That's rather good of it. So I think we've covered that part.
Yeah.
And this is what happens if you then go round your finished article with the side of the Sharpie. You can get the look of the enamel. Now,
Of the
most enameled pots that I've seen of my grandmother's, admittedly they were about 100 years old, and my mother's too has done it. They chip, and you get like little black chips inside.
Mhm.
Oh, you also some of the pills come very conveniently in a substitute for glass, and you can make dish covers. You can make pie dishes, Pyrex. So it looks quite good when they're like that. Now, this is one of the things that everybody noticed is in the rabbit house. He didn't get away too much from brown plastic furniture. Don't worry, we keep talking about it. This is one that had the little marks that were chipping. This is how they actually look. And you can do all sorts of things with these. They obviously, one thing you can't do is cook them. They will melt into a lovely blob, but they don't look very much like that. Enamel paint, I did some with enamel paint, and there's a little bit of spare at the side on the pill blisters, which you can cut knives from. You waste not, want not. You can make quite nice knives from those. It's only just a pointed bit and a handle. Now, there you are. That's what they look like in a shop. So it will fill quite a nice space in the shop up. And oh dear, it does help when you can see. Now, I thought these would make, with handles, make rather nice pots and pans. And this is a frying pan. This is an Imodium, if anybody ever wants to know what the pills were. So if somebody had problems, it wasn't us, but it was very kind of her to give this on to me. And I painted it so it looked like it was old. Just ran a little bit of glue and brown paint round the inside and black for the handle.
Cool.
And I then, the doctor very kindly prescribed some tablets for me, and they came in this rather nice brown packaging. And I thought, that will make rather a nice copper saucepan. So just one coat of paint. You didn't matter which side you put it on. I actually put it on the inside because I was going to hang this on the wall, and I just wanted a nice smooth finish that the plastic had, but showing up as copper when you paint it.
Oh,
So you've got copper pans there. And the bigger ones would make a sink. You've seen this one before. We're back to the brown plastic furniture. This is brown plastic furniture, but turned upside down. So it's got an open bottom, and I just put a bit of pill blister in there to form the draining board and the sink.
cool.
Now, I thought, what else can I do with this? And I thought, well, I don't know. Some of these are rather a nice hat shape. And I pushed put a lot of glue and water on a piece of thin linen. I know it looks coarse there, but that's obviously just because it's magnified. I thought it's stretchy. It's not too closely woven, so I can stretch it. It will come out and form the new shape. But it was very difficult if you're sticking your finger in glue and pushing it down. It tends to come back up with your finger. So I cut one of the pill blisters off and used it as a press. So I pressed the material between the two, and I was able to make quite a few,
Wow.
if you can see.
Wow.
And all I did was glue some embroidery thread around the edge and around the brim to make it look quite pretty.
So cute. Yeah.
And having achieved that, I thought, let's see what they look like when they're on. So we've got a couple here. This little girl, she's showing you how her hat was trimmed. And then she looks quite nice going off to Sunday school. And then I wondered if I could make a bowler. You remember the ones that I made into copper pans? That had a rather nice rounded shape at the bottom. And I thought that's just a bowler hat shape. but using even the thinnest of the black felt that I have, it still wasn't a complete success. But with a lot of glue and water and pushing it down very hard, I managed to more or less flatten. It still looks a little bit fluffy, and I must admit they're rather small, but I quite like that. I think it looks quite nice on them with these little hats on, little
Yeah.
bowling hats. So there's the butler and there's the head page boy or something when they're going to choir. Obviously, they've got their hymns and all with them. And I don't know where they're going afterwards, but they've got smiles on their faces anyway. Right, that's enough of that for the moment. And I'm sure you can all think of lots of other ways to use them. This is another method I like of embellishing things, and it's easier for me than to try and find where the little bits of gold have got to go with a pen. I sort of aim in that direction, but goodness knows where it ends up. So I have these, which are peel-offs. We call them peel-offs. I'm not sure what you call them, but they're for cards. But you can get them in supermarkets even over here. The ones that say Happy Christmas and you peel up and stick them on a card or something. These are the borders. You can get these borders for trim, but it's not that bit that I really like. It's the little bits that are left behind. And if you have a look at this one, you'll see that they make rather nice little handles on 48th scale. And so do these. And I will show you what I mean, because if you look here, these are the little handles. They're just enough. They're small enough. They're all the same size, obviously, and they'll stick quite nicely to it. And I can push them around a little bit if I get them in the wrong place first time. And the half circle ones, or even part of a chain you can cut in half, they make nice handles on cupboards and shops and things. But also, if you're doing a lot of things for selling, it looks so nice if you've got uniform labels on them. They look far more professional. And you'll see again, we've got the old enamelware here. This is supposed to be a chemist, yes, an apothecary who likes taking out teeth, hence all the nice little tools he's got there. And he also is a barber while he's at it. He might as well do the lot. That comes from the OK Corral quarter scale. Now, they also are very good for trimming little people's hats and shoes and belts. They make nice little ones. If anybody wants to ask me any questions, please feel free. I know you're blanked out, but
Yes.
you
We do
can-
have one question. We do have one question in the chat, and it is, what kind of glue are you using on these things like the hats?
nothing. Oh, that one, the
What-
hat. I'm sorry,
No.
I was looking at this hat and thinking of
No,
the
the
bag.
hats before, what type of glue were you using?
I use ordinary white glue. I mixed it with water. I use tacky glue, whatever I can. It's no special thing. It's 50-50 with water
Right.
and soak it in it.
Just some kind of, yeah, some kind of,
Anything that will dry, reasonably flexible, but stiff enough to stiffen material and keep the shape when you're finished.
oh, he's so cute.
He's my little man, my little leprechaun. And I like using these things because you can play, and if you don't like it, you can peel them off and put them back in the packet. And believe you, I am mean enough to do that. Right, this is what the clock's in brown plastic furniture. I said we'd go back to it.
Yeah.
And this part is printed on, but if you cut round it, you have got a little space. They're empty at the back. So I put at the back a bit of black card, which I trimmed to fit. And on that card, you can play
Hello.
with putting pendulums and things on it. Looks rather
Yes.
good.
Yes, I am.
And you can also use other clear packaging to stick just behind the plastic.
Rusty's doing a
And
presentation on MCC.
yep, that's me. Right. You can use pieces cut. I cut from catalogues, and jewelry catalogues. They often have men's watches and things like that, and they make rather good clock dials. And you can trim. I wasn't happy with these. This one I was trying to make look like a dusty old thing. It looked dusty, but that's as far as it went. And this one I was trying to do steampunk one, and it wasn't successful. I'll have to put some more gears and things on there, but the one that I did is quite successful, just as an ordinary clock in an ordinary house. But that looks quite effective from a distance. It really does not look too plasticky or anything. And I thought, looking at these, some of the corners on these peel-offs, they're borders, but they have corners sometimes. And I thought, if I put some of these together, 4 of them together, you can make quite an effective, I don't know what you call it, where you hang the light from, the fancy thing on old houses where they have the plaster work. And I found some other ones which fitted in the corner. This is 144th scale. And when you paint them up with white paint, it does look quite effective as plaster. And it's just the degree that you need. It's fine enough, which I couldn't emulate. Because remember, this is 144th scale, so it's quite small. I couldn't do things as fine as that anyway. And it's very difficult to make the patterns look the same all the way around. I'll go back one because I want to show that before. Also, if you remember the chain, at the border of the chain where they hadn't actually used this bit, it's waste. And I liked that with this will be where the chain is. That's another border, and I used it for I don't know what you call it, crown moulding, I think. And the plain straight pieces made rather nice skirting boards down the bottom. That's also very difficult to do or cut that small. Remember, it's very small. It's 144th scale. And this is what it looks like. I hope you can see this. I'm not sure how clear it is, but I like this because the sunlight's coming through. But you can just about make out the ceilings here. So that was what I did with peel-offs, the waste part from peel-offs. And it even makes nice crowns for a king. So they've all got crowns, rather elegant crowns, I think, but that's double, back to back. I stuck 2 back to back to make it stiff enough. And you can get peel-offs in other colours. You can get black. And this one is rather useful for making hinges and bolts and things on gates and walls and doors. But when I'd finished that, I looked at it and it didn't look dusty enough for the back of a saloon. And so I painted it brown to look like rust. And actually, considering that is just the blank back of a saloon, I've got all of the lighting in here. I made this up, and there is a drain pipe, which is actually the inner part of a biro. It's got all the wires running down. This lifts up, you can get into it, but it looks quite effective. And I quite like that scene. I'm a bit pleased with that one. And also it comes in white. So I had a little bit of blue clay left over, made a couple of balls, pushed them down, tiny little bits that I had left over, I rolled into a continuous roll, twisted it. That was the edge of the cake. And these white lines, which are very difficult to paint very small and straight, are actually white peel-offs. They're the thin white peel-offs for them. And that looks quite effective if you see it on a plate somewhere in a party. Now, this is something else which I don't know whether you've noticed. It may not happen in America, but more official envelopes have like a pattern inside, so that anybody wanting to read what's inside without opening it can't, because the lines confuse you. But this is just the inside of an envelope. When I started, and this was one of my very early ones, I hadn't any idea that you could buy wallpaper. that's that small. And so that's just the inside of an envelope. And you will recognize these. This is one of my early attempts at painting brown plastic furniture. And if you notice this, the original had a piece of brown. It was a funny shape. I cut it off because I didn't like it. It came up to there. And I owe this one, I think, later to Jackie Browder, who actually cut and used that piece. But oh, look, there's some more wallpaper from the inside of an envelope. It's tiles. This picture is one of my heartbreaks. When I'm making shelving and putting things on them, I glue the assembly onto a sheet of thin card so that I can actually hold it in front of me, put it under the big magnifier and see that I've put everything on. And I finished this room. I was so pleased with it. I asked my daughter to take a photograph, and this is what one she took. And it isn't until then that I realized all of the cupboards, there was a whole wall of cupboards here, had fallen, and they're just visible behind here.
Oh, yeah.
And in my attempt to pick them up without moving anything, I knocked all of this flying. And I just put them all back in there loose and shut the door. And that was the last I saw of that. I still haven't finished it. But I'm sad because it was all packed with all bottles and rows of things.
Oh.
Yeah, I realize now when I finished, I was trying them around so that I could get the best arrangement with their, it all stuck to this little vignette almost. And I couldn't have glued two of them. I think that's what caused it. And in moving it and to pass it to Katrina, they'd fallen down. So that is still there, and I will get back to it one day.
Well, it looks quite complete as it is.
Well, yes, because you can't see the other half of it.
Right.
There's bits all over the floor, I'm afraid.
Oh, how funny.
Anyway, this is I owe this indebted to Jackie Williams for this photograph of Jackie Browder's effort. That was the top of the
Oh,
dressing table. That was where she cut it off, and she put a clock face and a jump ring on it. And you've got mantle clocks till the cows come home. It depends on how many sets you've bought. Right, and now everybody says, why haven't I got a bathroom in the bunny house? Well, I didn't want a bathroom in the bunny house. That's the easy one. But I have made brown plastic furniture bathrooms, and just to prove it, this is one of them. And I painted the bath. This is a toweling. It's actually a baby wipe. It's with aloe vera, and it's very soft and it's fluffy. So that it makes lovely towels. There's a little pair of slippers I made. There's even some tissues stuck in a bead, really, but it looks like it's a tissue box. This is the cistern from the brown plastic furniture. It looked too modern. It was down here. And so I extended that. This is the ink part of a biro, you know, where you have the ink down in the middle, but when it's all drained away and used up, it's a nice empty tube and it's the right proportions. I added a bead and a little piece of chain. This is the cupboard that comes with this sink, the brown plastic furniture. Only these parts were poured in white. I didn't paint them that much. So I just made a little cupboard, put a few things on, a little bit of lace around the end, and oh, of course, made the little tray over the bath. And I made a rubber ducky out of Fimo. So there we are. That's, oh, and that toilet roll. In case anybody wants to know, perforated toilet rolls started in 1871 in America. Useless information department, but I do like useless information. I think that probably has brought us back to the beginning again. Yes. Okay, girls. Now you can have your meeting. Thank you very much. Any
that's
questions?
amazing.
That was awesome, Rusty.
Yes, that's awesome. Can you, oh, let's see, can you unshare your screen now or?
I'm
hit the
going to
red-
do that now if I can find
Either
where they've hidden it.
It's a,
This is,
should be a red button.
it is. I've got to try and find it. There we go.
You can find it. There you are back. Oh, that was great, Rusty. And what a lot of good ideas. For
Okay,
things.
so just look at, you don't have to pay the fortune. Just look around at what you've got in the house. As I say, I was surprised to find that these envelopes all had like wallpaper in the back. Look, there's one. Don't mind me, I always write on the back of envelopes and things.
I have envelopes that have that same lining in them. Yeah.
Yeah. And they you can line your suitcases with, I've done a lot of little suitcases with that as a lining. It's a nice, it doesn't.
I never thought to use, I would have, you're just, I never thought to use it.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jackie Browder was the one who thought of not throwing away the top of the dressing tables. And I'm kicking myself because I threw mine away in the end. So I shouldn't have done. It teaches me not to throw anything away.
Okay, we have a couple of other comments and things here. Valerie asked if that's a jewelry finding on the scale in the other picture. You remember you had a scale in one of the pictures?
I don't.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't see the question earlier. I had a phone call and I had to do that.
The scale.
You had a scale in the kitchen picture there that.
Oh yes, it's
Scale on the
yes,
table.
yes, it's a bead. It's not the actual bead, but you put the bead, put it either side of a bead. It's a,
Right.
I don't know what you call them.
It's a bead cap, I think.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, dear. Thank you very much.
You can all unmute yourself now and ask questions if you have them. Esty says, Rusty, you've become such a pro at navigating the shared screen. Quite impressive.
Well, without her teaching and without the other kind people who helped me, I wouldn't be here. Thank you, Esty.
Anyway, yeah, so.
I've used the the envelopes, and they'll have like a little window and just a fine piece of whatever you
Yep.
call it.
Yes, and
Those
that's very
make great
handy.
windows for the 1/4 inch or
Yep.
even smaller.
For the 144 scale, it's ideal because it's so thin, but it holds its shape well.
I need somebody who has a lot of pills.
You do, don't you? Well,
I
ask
know.
around. You ask
I
around.
know a lot of people with a lot of pills in our community.
Yeah.
Mine all come in bottles anymore.
Mine too.
I have a bunch of blister packs that I've gotten.
I think
not
they're
so
so
much from the
useful.
hospital, but from one of the companies that they pack them. It's like
Yeah.
before they actually put the pills in them. I have some
Yeah.
blister packs.
Yeah.
Russ, if you'd showed this to me 10 years ago, I would have saved a lot of money over the years.
Well, this is it. But you know, if you think you've got a shop and you want a whole row of stuff up there, it
I
costs
just pulled this out of my
There
trash
you
can.
go. That is beautiful. That
I've
is
never even thought
beautiful.
about it.
That
But
is
it
marvelous.
was
Now
in
you
my
think of
trash
that.
can right here. Yeah,
You think of that. You can
Oh,
cover
right.
boxes. You can line suitcases. You
it's
can stick them
beautiful.
on a wall.
I am going through all.
Thank
my
you. I
envelopes.
never thought about
Right.
even looking at the inside.
So
So this means that we'll be hanging on to more stuff than before.
This is not
course,
good.
yes.
No,
I'm
that is
kicking
not
myself
good.
for the only thing I did throw away. Jackie Browder used to make a clock. I'm thinking, oh gosh.
You
Dang.
know, after this meeting, we're gonna have to start a support group for Hoarders Anonymous.
Of course.
Sure.
I think we need to form our own chapter of it.
Yeah, I think it's too late for most of us.
Well, that's true too. Post Hoarders Anonymous?
Oh no.
My sister says I
Re-hoarding
need
anonymous.
intervention.
Oh, my
I'm the
kid,
queen of
yeah,
hoarding.
my friends and kids say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got this at a miniature show, so it was like, yeah, okay.
Valerie,
I'll
I think
acknowledge
you
it,
would get
yes.
arguments on that from a number of the others here,
Yeah.
that you're the queen. They'll contest your queenship.
I'm not gonna argue that one. She can have it.
Everybody's
in different countries.
Oh dear. Anyway, I enjoyed that one for you.
Anyway, thank you so much. That was terrific.
My pleasure.
Enjoyed it a lot, Gal. You did a great job.
you.
It's one of the things I miss. I used to give talks and can't do it now, but I enjoy doing it. I like the feedback you get as well. It's usually quite good.
Pussy, where's my camera?
This was a wonderful
It
tutorial.
won't go, Kelly, because you've got the background on.
Yeah. It's a dumb thing.
Was the
Rob-
brown furniture recorded?
I think so. Yes.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It's still being recorded.
Yeah.
No, the brown
the
plastic
previous
furniture
one.
was
Is
last
this one
month.
still being recorded? Is that what you mean?
Oh,
Yes,
Oh,
one is
this
still
one
being
is.
Better
This
stop
one's
it
still-
then.
Yeah, this one is still being recorded.
I This think
But
what
we
I
can
wanted
still
to
keep
show
them.
you, those signs, Kelly. Queen of unfinished, except for Jackie Williams.
And
Oh,
Anne.
it's still, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh
get-
my goodness.
Beautiful.
Where did you get that from?
It was at a craft show somewhere, and I've had it for years.
Oh, I love it.
Are we still recording right now?
Yes, ma'am.
We better
Okay.
stop it, don't you think?
Yes,
Yes,
it
I
is.
think so. Oh,
I
is it
will,
stopped?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.